Awesome. Yeah. Yeah. Dragon. Should I? Yeah. Dragon.
Hey, how you doing? I'm good, thanks. Very exciting. No, I love it. Oh, I see there's a feedback. Okay. Oh, I see there's a feedback.
Oh, I think it's fine. I can hear.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, I think what's happening is that we are probably both listening to the replay. The delay in YouTube. It's probably coming through.
Mm.
Sorry, the delay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Did you see there's a comment in the YouTube chat? The guy saying there's no audio. All right.
Okay, can you guys hear me now? Is that better? Maybe if the can you guys hear
Yeah.
me? Okay, yeah, okay. I just had to change the channels.
Awesome.
Great. Hell yeah! So we've got a few people out supporting us in the YouTube chat. It's great. For everyone who doesn't know me, my name is Dhruv, and we're talking about Malleant here, but it's very chill today. Just trying to talk to people. People have supported us on a journey, like Sean here, and they've always showered us with good comments about the development. They've been very supportive. So what better way to celebrate the launch of Malleant than to talk with people and show them what it's become since they started supporting it. So yeah, that's my tiny little introduction. um, so just to confirm, anyone in the chat can just say if they got that, just because I'm still uncertain if the audio issues are solved. Okay, there's a little bit
The
of delay.
suspense.
Yeah. All right, we can start, I think. So Sean,
Oh yeah.
do you have your camera on, or
Oh, I can get it. I use my phone,
okay.
and it's missing.
No problem.
Give me a minute or two, and
Yeah,
then
yeah.
I'll quickly go and dash and get it.
Awesome. By the way, I think Nikhil, you're in the chat. You know, you can drop by Discord as well. No problem. Like, I would love to talk. Nikhil is another great person. So
Well, that'll help. I'm still very green at this. So and my schedule with the other companies I'm working with, the one internship specifically, is just keeping me very preoccupied with their projects, and I haven't really spent as much time as I wanted to learn new software.
no
So
problem.
I'm a little bit green, but it'll be great if there's anybody else, if they can jump on the Discord, that'll be awesome.
Yeah. Nikhil, do you want to come through? And also maybe Burner214. I think I will post the. Tanush, can you post the link of the Discord joining on the chat or something, so that people can kind of get it. But no problem whatsoever, because you know what, I can kind of go walk you through, Sean. You know, walk you through what changes we've done and kind of just talk to other people. We have Nikhil, and we have Vishwas. Great. The more the merrier. Hey, feel free to turn on the mics and Nikhil and Vishwas, can you hear me?
Hello?
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hello, hi. It's so nice to be here. First time speaking with you.
Yeah, it is. We've mostly chatted on LinkedIn, I think.
Yeah.
So it's
I'm
super
gonna
surreal.
turn on my camera.
Hello.
Hello.
Nice to see you in
Nice.
person.
Yeah, this is like the furthest we can get with in person behind the screen.
Yeah.
It's sad, but it's good in a way because we're all connected from anywhere in the world. So
Sick.
it's exciting.
Meet Sean. Sean's been like part of the demo kind of beta program since a while. Great supporter. So on and so forth.
Hi Sean, how are you?
Hey, Nikos. Is it Nico? Oh, it's Nico. Hi, Nico.
Nico sees you. My name is Nikhil, but you can call me Nick for short.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice
I'm
to meet
just
you,
sorting my
Sean.
camera out.
Sick. And this is Vishwas. Vishwas also another cool dude. He is in Australia before, but right now he's having a small stint in India as well. It's great.
Nice to see you.
Doing? All right. So I'm just gonna jump right in and kind of show you Malleant as it stands today. We've done like a ton of changes since we initially talked to people. We initially showed it to you guys, in fact, and I'm just excited to kind of see your reaction to it. So feel free to be very dramatic. It's very shocks and sizzles. So we have here. Yeah, this is Malleant. It has changed from purple to orange because this is the enterprise version, and this is this is the full-blown everything. And if you've been keeping up, our website has also seen quite a lot of changes. So let me pull that in for you. Spent a lot of time kind of designing that through. Yeah, so this is all the new improved website. We did a small Wise community spotlight live stream a couple of some while ago, so you can see that over here. We have all the pricing, of course. Right now, because it's the launch, it's on discount, but this is you can learn more about Malleant over here. Nice. We finally have some face cam from Sean. Great. Spend a lot of time on this animation, kind of just getting this up and running, and then kind of just explaining through the bits and pieces, testing, refining, printing, cleaning, all the new features that have been added, the little blueprint of what it does, how it's connected, optimization, benefits kind of just laid out based on which part of the team member you're in, and then a bunch of tutorials. And yeah, it's pretty neat. Everything can be managed from here. As you can see, if I go to my account, I can manage my products from here itself. you know, which licenses, who to give, who not to give, everything like that. So I have a question for you guys. You know, it would be good for me to kind of remember where we were at when I first like kind of introduced you guys to Malleant, in the sense like how early did you see in it, or what did you initially think about it? Because I remember I gave a lot of promises in the beginning, you know, and I wish it kind of like lives up to that. So yeah, if you could just go from Sean, maybe.
Sure. All right. So I think the initial post I read on, I think it was on your LinkedIn,
Yeah.
that actually was a massive attraction. And then I reached out to you, and then very quickly you invited me to the Discord. The initial iteration, the first iteration of that software package was daunting. It was a little bit overwhelming to see it. And then you had a few updates, and that's when my schedule just went boom. But the last few updates, I think the last 3 weeks, you've been pushing out an amazing amount of work. I don't know how you did it, but the website's it's clear, everything is concise. You know, you probably are going to change it going forward, adjusting here and there, but so far the understanding is very, very clear. And the shorts that you are uploading at the moment are very, very helpful. For somebody like me, I'm still so fresh at this program that it actually seems quite simple to install and to get going. And I'm looking. My current projects are finished. I'm hoping that I can immediately get into this and make this into my workflow solidly going forward. So,
Thanks so
holding
much.
thumbs.
Yeah. And Nikhil, what about you? What was your initial kind of like impression? You know, that's the
Yeah, like I think it was super early in production. I remember it was uh, me asking you if there was uh, integration with native Unreal, and yeah, very initial, the entire build, and then like Sir Sean brought up the shorts that you like. For me, shorts, any kind of shorts, reels.
yeah.
I watch a lot of tutorials and videos of that kind, but a full-blown 15-minute video, I'm always skipping the timeline and just looking at the way where the highest view is.
Yeah.
But shorts is like it just does it for you. It's like a short 15-second clip. You get what you need and you're out.
Yeah.
But yeah, just the way it's massively blown. I'm looking at the website right now, so this is the first time I'm seeing it. It's super. It's awesome. Um, yeah, I haven't had a chance to use Malleant myself, but
Yeah.
because of just everything that's going on in the studio. But uh, I'm really excited. I have already planted the seed into my lead's brain that there's this little software that we could use, but it's in the horizon. So I'm really excited.
Great.
And yeah, looks awesome.
Sick. Yeah. So we're still working on the native Unreal. I have to be pretty frank, right? Because you know we get.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah, that's so much more to the software than just that. Yeah.
So, but you know, there's always that question. You know, what if you're not using Wise? You know, what is you're not using Wise? Then what do we offer? And that's what, as Sean said, you know, we pumped out so much updates like in the last 3 weeks or so, because a month before that we were just stuck. Like we were just working on all of these like small things and tweaking them again and again and again and again. And I really wanted to push builds out, but we couldn't because like we had to perfect the one thing. And something that I'm really, really proud of is this import mechanism. So this is our like import system. And I'm just gonna drag and drop a bunch of like files in there. So if you're watching the YouTube stream, you can see the like file folder. I'm just gonna drag and drop them inside. So yeah, it loads up these files. There's about like I think 500 or so files in there, 500, 600 files, and like it keeps the hierarchy, it keeps the folder structure, things like that. Now I realized, Malleant's not a DAW, so where does its strengths lie? Where does where is it different? And I realized, the people who are working with Malleant, they're decision makers. They're thinking, okay, I have to solve a problem, but most often finding the problem takes more time than solving the problem, right? And that kind of behavior is also something we can solve with Malleant because it's not a DAW. There's no like time-based stuff happening. It's all file-based. So now with this, let's say, import section, what I can do is I can press analyze levels, and it will analyze all these files for me. It will show me their LUFs, their RMS, their true peak minimums to kind of see like what their dynamic range is. Just to get like, let's say you are delivering assets to someone or someone else is delivering assets to you. It could be, from a dialogue session. It could be from stems, from music, from an orchestra, whatever. You want to make sure everything's pitch drop perfect. Well, it's an easy way. You don't have to have an analyzer. Just look through the files and find like what you're looking for. But when it comes to, let's say, 500, 600 files, just looking at raw data can be very daunting and not very helpful because it's so much that it kind of like clogs your brain. So then the next logical step is to say, okay, let me find the ones that I'm actually looking for. So for instance, let me find files that are maybe too loud. So you can start adding conditions. So you can start like, okay, where LUFs are more than, let's say, minus 22. So now it's all the files that are above minus 22. Let's go a step further. Let's say, you have ambience, right? Ambience standards are lower than, let's say, your gunshot standards. So ambience should be maybe around minus 26. So what you can do is you can go to conditions, say name, let's say name contains A and B, where maybe the LUFs is more than, minus 25. I don't have any files like that, but it kind of like shows you that you can really combine so much of like, these into, okay, you can't see the drop downs. So I'm just going to share like a bigger chunk of my screen, so you can kind of see everything. But I saw Sean laughing. So what do you think?
No, it's a massive time saver. I can't believe I never thought about that. any of my softwares. It's a really cool move.
Yeah, and you can see, so there's like a lot of these like various kind of inputs, just showing like what all options are. I know it's hard for you to read because it's a huge screen, so I'm just going to read it out for you, right? It's names, it's file formats, it's channels, it's length, file size, sample rate, bit depth, LUFs. Right now it's integrated, but we're also going to add LUFs momentary, RMS, true peak, minimum frames. And then you can do some wacky stuff as well. So what you can do is you can kind of go into the conditions, and let's just find files where there are empty channels. So maybe it's a stereo file, but the left channel or the right channel has no signal. It's effectively a 100% pan signal, but it's very hard to find those in a huge, haystack. Or let's find files that, either have an empty channel or their left and right channel are the same. So I'm going to do contains identical channels and then do matched any. So if they match any of these conditions, you kind of have, you can see, so matched any, and it shows you the entire tree of the files that, that you're kind of looking at. And you can go really crazy with this. You can also save them. You can, if you're doing the same operations again and again, like as part of a QA process. Nikhil, I don't know how much, like, do you do QA on your team yourself?
We're an indie team. We do a bunch of things.
Okay. So, yeah, you're wearing all the hats. I think, and the one hat like that kind of like, sticks with you. It's like you don't want anything to go wrong at the end of the day. So you're doing a lot of the planning. Indie team only works when there's well planned. So that's kind of my thought process, which was like, from my DAW to my middleware, or from wherever to wherever, I'm mostly kind of relying on standards so that like my next step is not hampered. There's not a problem that I'm importing, right? And that was like the thought process. So yeah, Vishwas has been very quiet and his camera is off.
No, I don't know. So something weird happened with my system. I recently switched to like the Apogee interface from Focusrite, and I was not smart enough to think that I have a Windows system. So now my Apogee is hacked everything. So my audio drivers, the native audio drivers, are all messed up. And for some reason, my phone's camera is not working. So yeah, I wish I could probably turn on my camera, but yeah, sorry about that. I need to fix it.
No problem. Yeah, Apogee is like Mac only. Yeah.
Yeah.
Even though
Yeah.
they're great, but they're Mac only.
Yeah, this sounds great, but yeah, it's giving me a hard time right now just to set it up with Windows.
Yeah, no, 100%. And you can do all of this, and then what you can do is you can, as I said, export this. So you export this as a file. You export this as a file on your file tree, and maybe put it in your repo or whatever, and share it with your teammates. So they can just import the condition sets that you place in, and you can have a standardized condition set, like just a bunch of condition sets that you just check, and you're like, okay, fine. If there's nothing that clicks in this, then we're good to go. If there is something that that does stick out, then we have a very easy way to solve it. So let's just do this same like process. So I found like files that are like that don't vibe with the channel stuff that I have, right? Like that they're not correct with the channels, and I want to bounce them down to mono. So I can just remove the files that don't match, and then import just the files that do match. And then I select them all, send them, go to export. It takes care of my like, I think I've shown you this bit like 1500 times, but it finds where the files are located. Let's do new mono and rename them, and you just do force mono and you export, and then they're fixed. So all those like problem files with, let's say, you wanting them to bounce them down to mono, that kind of goes through. And over the development of Malleant, I think that's been like a very focus point for us as like the team, which has been, how do I do this one thing that annoys me a lot but fast and not stupidly, like it makes sense, it doesn't create more problems than I started with. And that's been a lot of these small problems. So we started with the plugin thing, and then we realized this can of worms that we've opened up lends itself very easily into like these like file heavy operations, which most often game audio people do come in contact with a lot, because it's just a volume based game. It's such a volume based game. So yeah, what are your thoughts, Nikhil? Had you seen this before? Maybe in the shorts a little bit.
No. Sorry, I was gonna ask that. So what did you do there? I saw force mono and then the renaming.
Yeah.
Are you converting the files?
Yes. So
Okay.
what happened was I imported the files that were specifically only had, let's say, a missing channel, or the left and right channel being the same. So identical. It's basically mono, right? And then what I did is, in order for you to export from Malleant, we always suggest, we have some camera feed from Vishwas, but from in order to export from Malleant, we always recommend non-destructive audio. So we always say rename your files, but you can also override previous file names if you want. And okay, this is the last feature we added before we like built it. We dealt with all the final bugs, but the last feature we added was a rename sequencing feature. So you see all these numbers here, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 8. In Pro Tools or in any other DAW, what happens is they've organized their rename structure to go one way. And we had that as well before, like one algorithm happened after the other. But I realized if you want to, over a lot of files, you want to really take advantage of these algorithms, you also need to control in which order you're triggering them. So you can, you can keep this, let's say 6, and then do, let's say, this one as 7. So now this will happen after this rather than before, and that's something really cool, I think, because you can sequence in the way in which way the algorithm will rename it. I think, Nikhil, you have a question. Looking like you're in doubt.
Sorry, I think my face gave it away. I'm just so the sequence index, prefix, sequence index, suffix. So that's until index 7 it makes the changes, or from index 7 down it starts making the changes.
No, so it starts from 1 up to 8, but you see only 2 of them are selected. So that means I only need to have a sequence, like this could be 1, this could be 2, this could be 3, this could be 5. As long as they're one of the other, it's fine.
Nice.
Yeah. So you can.
Yeah, this looks cool.
You can sequence them, and this is all like the rename options, like find, replace, insert, trim, regex, numbering. There's a version incrementer. So you can do all of this. Let's just do whatever, and you rename. And okay, it did not work. Great. Sorry, I did not have any file selected. I didn't select any files, so that's why it wasn't renaming anything. But yeah, you can do this and you rename it. And this is another pet peeve of mine, which is if you're like working in a DAW and you're doing a lot of rename functions, you can never see what it will end up becoming before you print it. Right? So we have this rename preview where you can see exactly what the renamed file will look like after you print it. And in case you're like, you know what, this one in particular I don't really like, you can change it from here itself and just have it like changed.
That's one of my favorite features in Reaper when you go out to export, the dry output render.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's inspired by that, I guess, the rename preview.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, basically. I just had a pet peeve because I use Produce a lot. So, but of course, Reaper is a really good piece of software. So they've really got a lot of things thought through, But it's interesting to know, Sean, like I think last time we talked, or the first time I showed you this software, were these things there at that point? I don't remember.
No, not at all. This is also just blowing my mind now, because it's good to use extra additional software to do silly things like renaming for. Like I'm still at a very indie level, and I love doing community work, game jams and things. So majority of the time, the tasks that you spend time on are things like renaming correctly, or if you with your workflow, if you automatically create duplicates, and the suffix is just a 2 or 3 or 4 or 5, and you want to export those quickly during a game jam, and you only have, let's say, an hour on this particular day to do cool things, then this is a massive time saver, big time.
Yeah.
Yeah. The question I wanted to find out, so are you thinking of creating a save feature? So for example, on this page that you've got now open, will a user be able to say, okay, save these settings as a preset for project X exports, or will you be interested in putting that in as a feature, or do you already have it as a feature?
Right now we have last memory saved. So what happens is if you do anything over here, it's going to remember that every time you come to export. But if you change it, it's just going to retain that.
Okay.
So
That's a better idea.
It keeps the last one alive. So in case you want to, like, we didn't do a lot of just because I thought about, how much time will you be spending doing preparing stuff for Malleant, when Malleant is the software that's meant to cut out the preparation,
Yeah.
So
No, that's great. Saving the last thing you did, that's a good idea. I didn't think about that. That's actually better than having a bunch of presets, because when you get software, I think very few users reach that point where they now start even thinking about creating presets for that piece of software, because as we all have our favorite sets of software, we're not going to create additional presets for other things that we use.
Yeah, exactly. And okay, for indie studios, I have this one feature that I'm very happy with. It's called the secondary drive feature. So, okay, you guys, let me know if you guys relate. So what happens is, we have like indie audio providers or whatever, we have an internal repository, like one we keep backups in, make sure that all of our projects are here. And then we have a client repository, the one that the client sends us, and it's their game, it's on whatever version control. And Malleant mostly works on pulling things from the version control file, which is the client repository. Now, in theory, if you're using Malleant a lot and you're exporting like 1,000 files, right, your internal repository will get desynced, because you're not exporting to internal, then putting them in the middleware. It's cut through, and that can be annoying. So we have this like secondary drive feature where you select a primary drive and a secondary drive, and Malleant exports to both places at once with the same format. So if you've got two drives that you're willing to sync, one for internal use, maybe for backups, whatever, and one for client facing, then it does that at the same time. I don't, Nikhil, like, is that something you relate with, like face something in day-to-day operations?
There was a point where I did exactly this thing, but completely manually.
Yeah.
We had our studio repo,
Yeah.
and I was thinking like, okay, I even when we get tasks assigned to us, I don't want to directly do it on the main project. I want to experiment it on a demo project, and then if it looks good, I make videos, I share it with the team, get feedback, and then just get the assets into the main game, and then do your version control process and everything. So yeah, this is amazing. Like this is like it's sending it both ways, so you don't have to go to your contents and then copy your folder and then paste it. So this is awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. I have to shout out to Bolt Tracks, who's in the comments right now. I don't know if he's still there. If you're here, Christopher, could you just give me like a thumbs up or something? Because Christopher's also been like a day one homie, I think, about this. I don't know how to better put it, but he's been very supportive, and he always likes our posts that we put out, and it's so nice. It is so nice to have his support. So Christopher, if you're here, I appreciate you a lot. And thanks for coming to this stream. But yeah, Nikhil and Sean, like, oh, nice.
Sorry,
He's still here.
I just want to throw it out. Portugal versus Congo has started.
Oh shit. Damn. Yeah, I mean, I've not had any sleep for the last 3 days trying to get this out, but like, yeah. By the way, Christopher, if you're, thanks so much. If you're free, feel free to hop into this call on Discord as well. We're just on the server. But yeah, thanks again for being here. Nikhil, about what you said. So you know how there's this little like drop down menu here? It says sync all or sync only exported. Just because the algorithm that we use also allows us to sync other things except for the ones we export. So if you wanted, you could select like sync all, export something. Not only will it sync the exported files, but also any remaining files. So if there's 2 folders that have, let's say, like 10 files missing, it will find the missing files, which ones are missing, and like sync them. I mean, it was cool to have. I didn't want to get rid of it, so I just put a drop down to kind of, help people. It doesn't really change much of the Malleant experience, but I thought, what the hell, it's kind of nice. And that's talking about all non-core features of Malleant. That's not even like the the main point of this software. I think as much as I've been saying from day one, I think what the point of the software is to do a lot of changes in real time in game, and finally it's like really stable now. We had so many issues, and I can a lot of it comes from non-linear audio and linear audio, the differences between that. So let me show you guys an example. So I'm just going to open Wise, and I'm going to open Unreal. Do you Vishwas, I know, uses Wise a lot. Like he's Wise and Unreal. He's really good at Unreal. But Sean and Nikhil, how much do you use Wise? I don't know, Nikhil, how much do you use?
I can give you a breakdown.
Okay.
So Unreal Engine, it's been 3 years. So when we started, we didn't have Wise, Fmod, any middleware in our horizon. So everything was. I was doing gameplay when we started because the project was completely fresh. There was nothing for audio. I just threw in a cue and ambience was playing. I was like, "Well, there's audio, bro." But so we started with native Unreal, meta sounds and everything. Then everyone started talking, "Oh, you know what? Maybe we can." So our CEO was like, start prepping integration and learning everything. So I spent, pretty much every day for a year. And now they're like, we're going to move to Fmod. So now I'm doing Fmod and trying to understand that middleware. But I miss Wise. Wise is so good. It's so cool. But sorry, I phased out. What was your question?
No, it was
Like how
about
long
that. It
I've
was
been
about
using
that.
it?
Like how
About that,
much you
okay.
guys buy. Yeah. No, that kind of answers everything. By the way, again, shout out 2 more people. I think really, really cool to have them here. Lucas is great. He's from Germany. He's really funny because he's bald. I mean, sorry, I don't mean that, but but he's really nice. And I met him like last year in Bangkok during one of the Gamescom, and I had the best time talking to him. It was so much fun. We just nerded out, and he's been great. And then there's also Matisse. I think Matisse is the reason we got the Mac build out. Without him saying like, "Hey, I want Mac," I don't think we would have that fire under our ass to get the Mac build out. And it was a pain in the ass to get Mac out. Like it was huge. Like it was really bad. Cause Wise on Mac, the authoring side, it runs on a Windows simulated environment on Mac. So what happens is if I try to build something for Wise, I have to use a Windows native library to build on Mac that does not have the build of Windows native library. So it's really it was fun, but it works great now. So ends justify the means. Okay, cool. Let me show you what I meant by Wise and what all this stuff. So I've got Wise running over here, right? And this has always been the core feature of Malleant, which is you've got Wise open, connected to game, and for a minute, let's just throw away Wise. Let's keep it aside, and let's just play the game, right? So let's say you're playing through the level, and you go like, you know what? I like it. I like the gun sounds, but it's very dry, or I'm not getting enough excitement. First things first is you can kind of see that Malleant has a little profiler now. So, oh, wait, I'm not sharing my entire screen with you guys. Sorry about that. Okay, yeah, now that's better. So you can see why, Unreal open here. Unreal is connected to Wise, and Malleant has this little profiler, which profiles when events are triggered. So you don't have to kind of find which events are played, or you don't have to go to the profiler to do that. Malleant keeps a track of it. All you have to do is now, like, let's say go to fire weapon, click, it goes to the event, you just press send, and let's just add some, let's add some reverb. I'm gonna take these out, this is a preset. This is my reverb, which is a kilohertz reverb. So now this signal is going into Malleant. So if I play it back, sorry, because of the stream, it's a bit like grainy, but because we're streaming a lot. But can you hear it? Can you hear the reverb being added? Yeah. And that's the, crux of Malleant at its core. It's to, you're playing the game and you're like, this would sound better with reverb. Let's put reverb. Or let's say, you know what? Let's go here and let's play the subtitle demo. Let me delete these. I'm gonna add some phaser, some flanger. I'm gonna go here. I'm gonna play this.
In this tutorial, we will look at creating actor mixers and control buses. We will also look at the actor mixer and master mixer structures and how to manage these structures efficiently.
And that's happening in game with the signal. That is the crux of Malleant. It's that, you're working around the game. You find something you don't like, you find something, where you can do some changes. You don't have to wait around, go back to the DAW or find the assets or spend time, thinking about things. No, you just, open up Malleant. You have your presets, you set what you want, you're ready to go. Once you're happy with this, it follows the same principle with export, which is basically to, finds where the files are located, whichever you've selected, which assets are located where, adds your renaming. So I'm just going to do like phased, right? You rename it, you do all of this, you press export to middleware, re-import to middleware, and you press export. And it's done. It's in Wise now. This changed file is in Wise. Over here, if you see, this was, I think, marker test demo. So phased is over here. So if we remove this.
In this tutorial, we will look at creating actor mixers and control buses. We will also look at the actor mix.
And this is the original one.
In this tutorial, we will look at creating actor mixers and control buses.
And this is the new one.
In this tutorial, we will look at creating actor mixers and...
If you want to make changes. Yeah.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Your microphone is also picking up the sound from your speakers. I'd like to hear that again, but you'll have to just mute your microphone.
Okay.
In this tutorial, we will look at creating actor mixers and control buses. We will also look at the actor mixer and master mixer structures and how to manage these structures efficiently.
Yeah, sorry about, I use monitors. It's the mic. I'm not very familiar with streaming setups and kind of isolating channels here and there. But yeah, it's, it should feel, I don't know. When I work on projects, I have this itch. Like I wanna just change something. I wanna mold things as I'm hearing them. I wanna go crazy, go wacko while I'm playing the game, so that it makes sense. Okay, Sean also sounds super reverby. I think it's me. My mic is picking up what Sean is saying along with what Sean is saying and sending it out to OBS. How do I fix that? This happens even when Tanuj's microphone is muted. 1 second, Sean, can you say something?
1 2 1 2 55 7 7 0. Am I still echoing?
I think it's my mic is picking it up because audio is getting routed through two different things like Discord and OBS. So I could try to put on headphones, but I have to find them, and that's annoying. So I'm not gonna do that. Okay. It was my mic. Okay, Matisse says that it's my mic. I'll try to keep my mic muted sometimes when Sean is speaking or someone else is speaking.
I mean, it's not too bad. Just sometimes.
Okay. but yeah, I think last time we talked, again, I keep going back to this, but what do you guys think? Because I really want your opinion on like what it was before, what it's now kind of living up to or not to what you're seeing, Vishwas finally has a
Way
space.
more.
Great. Nikhil, what about you?
Malleant is like, whoa, it's like 10 times what I saw, I think, a couple months ago. So the file management systems, the processing when you add the presets and then you export it, and on Wise it already sets it as an effect, is super cool. I had a completely different understanding of the entire process, but seeing you do it real time makes a lot more sense. So yeah, I had a question um,
Yeah.
regarding the file uh, management window that you had, where you were setting the conditions, exporting, filtering everything. Is that a like, do you have to buy the entire Malleant package to access this feature, or do you sell this separately as well? Okay. Okay. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Oh, everything. Okay. I mean, me personally, if I saw a product that is purely just file management, uh, I would be super quick to bring it up to management and CEO to kind of fit it into their budget, because the post pro since everything is just wrapped up in one software,
Yeah.
maybe it's a future consideration,
Yeah.
but uh, just that feature, because like the file, everything that's on there, because I tried making a tool myself using Python, PyQt, and all of that. It was super simple. It was just
Oh.
files. Um, it shows what file port, and it was super simple. But this one is complex.
Yeah.
It solves a lot of things, which even before you get into signal processing with effects, I think this solves like a huge, big issue, especially like when the scale or volume of your assets are like in thousands.
Yeah.
So I love the file system, and yeah, I'm super excited to get my hands on this.
Just have to say goodbye to Matisse. Thank you so much for joining. Malleant still has a trial on, even if we're gonna sunset like the beta program. It's the trial is still there. It's stable, and all of this is working. So feel free at any point to like pick it up. And Matisse, I think, thanks a lot for your support. Regardless, thanks a lot. And see ya. Vishwas, did you want to say something? I think.
Oh yeah, I remember when I demoed it with you, you told me about this feature in the enterprise system where the manager can sort of track changes.
Yeah.
Where are we
Okay.
regarding that?
So we tried out with session. First, I have to just confirm. Christopher, can you hear me? I've got my mic on. Is it audible? Damien is here. That's great. But no longer audible on stream. Huh. Can you get? You can hear me. Okay. That's
I
good.
can hear you on stream. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Sorry about it. I keep messing up a little bit every now and then. Yeah, Vishwas, I think we've not made too much progress with regarding that one thing, because it's super complicated. We realized like to do this over Malleant, most of it doesn't have to do with like tracking changes. It's we do keep session data, and we're still kind of collecting it somewhat to kind of see like how we're thinking about changes, because the main question becomes this: if you have asset A and you put like a DSP chain on it, and you push it out to asset B, you make it asset B. It's not very easy to put it in words what DSP chain it was, because you'd have to put the preset file, you'd have to put like what preset it was, then how much like changes were there. Like, how do you represent that data that makes sense in a spreadsheet format or a trackable format? Another thing is Malleant doesn't keep track of the files it exports, because after you've exported a file, that's up to you. You want to ship it, you want to like destroy it, delete it, maybe revert back to a certain thing. Since Malleant is like not a part of this like version control mechanism, it's very hard for us to keep a live update on these. Great, I'm back. On the statuses of these like these audio tracks, audio assets. But I'm still optimistic we could do something. I'm just not sure exactly what right now. With that makes sense. That would make sense. Is that does that kind of answer the question?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I was thinking more to do with, let's say, like there are 5 people working on the project, and then there are people exporting constantly, and like, they have different versions. Let's say I do something on an asset, and then someone's like, you know what, that's too much distortion, or maybe I want to revert to the previous version and then add a little less of it. And they re-export it, and then I just feel like if like we can track who did what, or like it's going to be easier for us to communicate in terms of, or like like just like a change history of, or who basically made that change kind of thing, like just with their account tag that, hey, like this version was exported by this person, or they made this change, something like that. I mean, I'm not like, I'm not saying that it's a deal breaker or something, but yeah, it could be just a cool thing to have,
Yeah. Metadata into the files is always, I think it's something we're still studying, because we're also looking at UCS as a naming convention for Foley. So if you're recording like a Foley session and you want to do quick naming, you want to do file management, like Nikhil said, then you're looking at UCS file naming. So UCS is a little bit more than what we have right now. So we're still looking into the metadata aspects of the files and what we can do. So I think if we can print the name of the username into the metadata, that would kind of be nice. But without having to track the changes, right? Like if we don't track the changes, we still have like the cleanup tree aspect in Malleant, which is new. So, like what you said, over time, if you're working on a project, you will realize that you've created like a lot of unused sources. That in your project that's just sitting around not being used. They don't show up in the file tree as like unused, because they're in a source, they're as a source, they're just not used. And Malleant can be a very key factor responsible for that. So it's not very nice. So if you go to the cleanup tree, Malleant will query your entire file tree in your Wise session, look at all the sources, like all the sound objects and their sources, and then we did the market test, right? So you can go for this one, let's say market test. You can say show only containers with unused sources. So now it only shows you the ones that have unused sources. And let's say 2 months down the line, if you've got, let's say 5 of these sources in one audio object, and you don't really remember which one you want to pick, you can audition it from here itself. So let's say I go to marker test one. So there's a play button here. You can just press use.
In this tutorial, we will look at creating actor mixers and control buses.
Or you can press this one, you can press use.
In this tutorial, we will look at creating actor mixers and control buses. In this tutorial, we'll also look at
And then let's say you're greenlit, right? Let's say 2 or 3 work units your team has greenlit for cleaning, for purging, because you're like, okay, I like where this level is at. Now let's just get rid of all the unnecessary stuff. So instead of selecting the entire, hierarchy, you can select maybe just the 2 or 3 work units where there's like a problem. It shows you the non-containerized files. You select the ones you want to keep, and you just get rid of all the others you don't want. So just get rid of all the ones you don't want, and it's gone from Wise itself as well. So if I go to Wise, that file is gone. Oh, you can't see. Yeah, from Wise itself is also gone from Marker. So that's, if you can't track who did what at the very end, at least after 2-3 months, if you're happy with the level, you can get rid of unnecessary clutter that Malleant may have caused, or you could have sources from somewhere else. So that's the last major feature we added. So what do you guys think? A lot of nodding heads.
Quick question.
Yeah.
So those files are still in either the primary or the secondary drive, right? Even though
Yes.
it's removed from Wise.
Yes, it's removed from Wise as a source, but it will show up now as an unused file.
Okay.
So I think you can have like multiple audio assets being referenced in the same event, and you can like select which asset you have to use.
Yeah.
And let's say, I think what you're trying to say is that, like, if you had, let's say, 6 versions of a file in a single event, and then there'll be like one which is being used, and 5 of them will be like, just unused sources, and then that's essentially the cleanup, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. But do we still have access to those 5 versions of that audio file outside of Wise and
Yeah.
Malleant?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because
Super.
it's not deleted from your file tree. We thought about doing that, but it's insanely complicated and not worth it.
Okay. Nice.
So,
That's awesome.
yeah.
The only reason why I asked about like the naming thing, like who did what, was because, like, let's say if I have like 10 different versions on a single event, and I'm like, oh, you know what, I actually want to do something that I did. So if, like on my team, if I can just look at assets that I processed, I can just be like, okay, cool, that's another filter that I can look into that. Okay. Or maybe I remember that, oh, like someone else did something that I really liked, and now I don't remember which version was it. So rather than going through like 10 different versions, I can just be like, hey, this is person X's exports, and maybe I like one of their iterations of the same file, and then I can like just find it. So I think, yeah, that's where I was coming from when I asked you that question, about who did what. Yeah.
Makes sense. Although an unprofessional answer to that would be you can add it to the renames.
Yeah, that's smart. That's
Yeah.
not unprofessional. That's very smart. Yeah, naming convention.
You can like maybe put it in like a insert, and you just do it like after an index certain point, just have like a truncated
Yeah,
name.
just an initial or something. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's cool.
You could be WWA. It's one.
Just see a bunch of files. Gunshot _ tail _ 01 _ Nikhil. Just bunch of files with names on it.
The IR is called Nikhil. Just Nikhil's room. Yeah. But yeah, Sean, what do you think about this? What we've got going on?
Yeah, so currently with me, I'm feeling very green and amateur compared to everybody else in the room. I'm already encountering issues at this level that I'm working now. And it's tiny in comparison to what will probably lie ahead. But the amount of admin that I have to do, and copying, renaming, duplicating, constantly keeping track of all of the administrative functions.
Yeah.
I can now see what lies ahead and what you guys are doing into stopping the tiny, what I would call micro movements that actually slow your whole process down. So this is nuts. This is amazing.
Great. That's super nice to hear. Yeah. So with the profiler, like one of my favorite things. Oh, Tane's here. Everyone meet Tane. I don't think you've ever met him, but Tane is the brains. I mean, Tane is like everything behind Malleant. Like he is the programmer, and So Tane has been with me since like the very beginning of Malleant. He learned Juice starting with Malleant. It's both of our first software. I don't think I could have a better teammate than Tane. So this is Tane, and this is the guy behind the cloak. This behind the curtain. It's Tane.
Yeah, all of the code that Malleant has, it's all me right now.
Yeah.
Me and a bit of cursor, of course, but that's the software development right now. But yeah, working with Dhruv has been amazing. So 2 years ago, I wouldn't have taken that leap if Dhruv did not believe in me. Honestly, I would not have started with Juice. I would not started with software. Dhruv was like, "This is the idea. Just tell me if you can do this." And he gave me a chance, and here we are.
Yeah.
So yeah, super grateful to Dhruv for that.
When we did this, we were drunk. So that is a so. I think we were like 5 or 6 beers down, and I was like,
Have you guys done the UI in Juice as well?
yeah.
Yes, that
Oh, damn.
pain in the ass. No, I would not recommend it.
Massive respect. Massive respect.
Crazy.
Do you guys play Balatro? Because I say this to everyone, we meet. It's a lot of the UI is based on Balatro. If you guys have noticed, have you? No? Okay, I thought that was quite obvious. When you add a plugin, it's a deck of cards, like you're pulling from the deck, like you're drawing from a pile. That's the analogy, like Yu-Gi-Oh. And then when you add your plugins, let's say I add a bunch, right? They are a deck of cards in your hand. Like they open up like the fan, and now you can place them like how you would play cards on a table. So you just play them, and then they open like Pokemon cards. That was the whole idea. We did all these mini drawings, so to avoid copyright and all this. But yeah, just to make it super fun, something interesting, not just boring audio, just lines and tables and stuff, but cards.
You can. It's a future idea, but you can actually include a card game in Malleant.
What?
Yeah,
What
I
kind
don't know. You can do something with the plugin cards.
Maybe, yeah. Okay, it's still on the table, but one of the first things we started off with was skins. So in the future, you guys can expect skins, like how you have on Fortnite. You'll have Malleant skins. We had it like drawn out also. We had 3 ideas: Cyberpunk, Final Fantasy, and it was Pixel. Yeah. Pixel art. And yeah, it's pretty wacky, but it's nice. So maybe in the future you guys can drop your mom's credit cards and get skins. Yeah. Nikhil, you were saying something. I cut you off.
Oh, sorry. I was gonna say I need to leave.
Okay.
But thank you so much for having me. Malleant is amazing. Everyone is amazing here, and really looking forward to Malleant's future. Nice to meet everyone.
Yeah.
And thank you, Dhruv. Thank you for having me.
No, thank you so much for coming and joining. In the future,
Thank
if
you
you
so
need
much.
anything, always feel free to message.
Thank you so much. Have a good day, guys.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. So yeah, I think that's a lot of talk about Malleant. I want to know about some of the experiences you guys have had with your tooling. I think or just some crazy annoying experiences in your lives with audio. Kind of that bug you. Oh, let's go. Fahim is here. Fahim and I also have a pretty interesting story. But first, you guys are on the chopping block. You guys say. Sean, do you have a interesting or weird story with things that bug you in audio?
I do, but I can't. Now that I'm being put on the spot, I can't think immediately. today's a funny example. I was recording Foley,
Yeah.
and so I've got this big concrete thing that I have in the yard. I don't have a fancy facility, so I took it to my car to go and record inside the car. But then I was just carrying this concrete block with other pebbles and a skull made out of cement also. Grabbed it, took it into the car, but just before I reached the back seat, I dropped the concrete slab on the floor. But the field recorder was on, so
Okay.
I'll see what it sounds like tonight. But, you know, that's a silly, stupid Foley issue. Another software issue is a recent update from Contact 7 to 8 sprung up on me, and I lost access to majority of my old plugins, and, you know, so silly things like that. And every 2 weeks, we have this lovely Windows update that screws everything up.
Great, of course. That's the story of everyone. I think I have like a funny thing with the Foley, right? Like, I was in Gamescom last year, and there were a lot of Japanese people visiting, right? And these guys are very straight to the point, like, you know. They ask you all the tough questions in the first meeting, and it's they want to get the thick of it. And they asked, one of them asked me, like, so because we also do audio services, we also provide game audio services as a team, so they asked me, like, what makes you different? What's special about you? Why should I hire you? And you know, normally I just go off my normal stuff, like, we're like, we work a lot, we're like very nice people to work with and all this stuff. But I could see that they weren't really buying it, so I played like a different, I told them, and I think it's a pretty good example actually, which is, if you have, let's say in a game, that a building is collapsing or something like that, right? I, being in India, I can go and I can buy the pillar of concrete or I can buy the pillar of iron or metal, whatever, from like a local market. Because, I mean, if you look for it, it's available. You could just buy that singular piece of metal and just go record it, bang it, whatever. You know? Not something you can do physically in, you know, very easily in Europe, in US, in a lot of other countries. Yeah, that's not as funny as I thought it would be after saying it out loud, but yeah, that's.
Yeah, I mean, no, that was funny. I was just like, yeah, and they would say, yeah, but you can't really record guns anywhere else except the US.
Yeah, well, they have that.
You know,
they have that.
they have that.
They
Yeah.
have that. Amongst a lot of things that they don't, they do have this. They have the guns, for sure. But we have the iron pillars, I guess.
What about cars, though?
They have some good cars. Not gonna lie, they have some good cars. A friend of mine told me, like in India, a lot of the Foley packs that we have available here, for that are used in Bollywood movies themselves, those packs are actually Western, because there's not enough Foley packs of Indian cars and Indian motor vehicles recorded in high quality to be used in motion picture cinema, and they don't have the budget to kind of put it on to like recording cars and you know, motor vehicles specifically for like movies, because it doesn't make sense for like that piece of like just a small scene. That was a little interesting. This is like, we still use like a lot of the Western cars and motors and whatnot, even though our motors and cars don't sound anything like it. So it's kind of an audio illusion, I guess. But yeah. By the way, everyone, this is Fahim. I have not introduced you. Fahim is great. He's making a VR game. We're helping him with audio and stuff. He's super chill. I met him at a gaming conference. I think it was in like another city or something. And we realized...
IGDC.
Yeah, it was in another city, like 800 kilometers or something away. And then we realized we live 5 kilometers away from each other. Not even 5, like 2
Not
kilometers.
even 5
Yeah.
5 minutes away.
Yeah.
I can walk to.
It's crazy. I think I was just like, oh, you live in this same city as me? Okay, where do you live? And then he literally named the street that is after my street. And I was like, are you stalking me? Is that, are you that in that much authority? But yeah, that's my aim. Yeah, Vishwas, do you have any funky stories from your time in Australia?
I mean, a lot of them, a lot less with audio, but a lot more with like just crackheads on the road. But yeah, I mean, look, with audio, like what Malleant has solved, especially in terms of being able to do these small tweaks that my ears sometimes really crave for, but I'm like a really lazy person and I don't want to go through this whole process of opening my Reaper again and then waiting for it to load up because I've got like 1,000 plugins on it. So yeah, now this is a game changer. And then you sort of presented that. You kind of solved a big annoying problem that I had. Now, unfortunately, at that point, I was working on a proprietary engine and I wasn't given the green light to sort of use it with it. Even though it's very simple, I could have just gone to that folder where all my audio assets are and I could have just like, tweak them accordingly. But yeah, unfortunately, I couldn't make that happen. But yeah, I'm like really excited to use it on my next gig wherever this fits. And yeah, this is something really cool. So yeah, man, really looking forward to just seeing how this plays out in the industry and how other people use it.
Yeah, I think one of the things I really like to do, which I opened it up for now, which is like if I have like the Malleant connected, even if I'm not processing anything, let's say if I'm a composer, right? I don't have a lot of assets, but I do want to listen to things a lot, like in layers and whatnot. So the profiler has this like neat little thing where let's like go somewhere, and let's say some music starts to play over here. Right now, if I'm the composer of the scene, I just want to hear the music. I don't want to hear the ambience. What I can do with Malleant is, because it's kind of showing me in real time what what events are there, I can solo it. Wait, ambient music region. Oh. My bad. I think there's something off with it. Is it connected? I'll try to troubleshoot, but basically the point is that you can see things load up on the profiler, and then as and when you like it, you can basically just you can mute and solo them. So you can mute and solo layers as and when they're played. So you can mute and solo if you come across certain thing and you just want to focus on certain aspect, like a music track, or you want to maybe mute the music track so you can hear the ambiences as they're playing, as they're rendering at this. So you can just mute the music. That's something you do profiler without having to like process things, without wanting to process and so on and so forth. You just use the profiler as like a DAW track list to mute and solo your project in real time.
Okay.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite things.
Yeah, can I ask you like another question that's like sort of in the similar lines to what that Japanese person asked you?
Yeah.
Yeah, so like I personally haven't used the Revise ecosystem, but I know a lot of people who did. And when I was trying to tell them about this software, one of the few questions which is common that sort of got thrown around a lot was that how is this different than the Revise ecosystem where people can just edit files from their DAWs and then it reflects on their Wise sessions.
Yeah. So I actually have a video on YouTube explaining this very one thing, explaining exactly what is different between Revise and.
Oh, sorry, dude. I might have missed it.
No. It's just because I itch. I do come across this question a lot, and it's been so much that I think that there's like 3 main points of contention. First of all, Revise is not on the active signal. right? What you're doing is it's more of a pointing thing. It's a great piece of software, don't get me wrong, it really does its trick, but it's a pointing tool. Wise asks Reaper, hey, where is this asset in your session? Point it. So you go to it, it opens up Reaper, points it to the place. Then you do your changes, but you're not hearing them back real time with the game. So any processing you put, sure, if you're a good sound designer, you're not really missing the mark by that much, but it's not real time. You're not hearing it while playing it, in the game, and you're not hearing any sort of effects happening to it after. You're just hearing it in Reaper, and then when you're happy, Reaper basically exports it, puts it back, and most of the time Reaper-wise, as I've seen it being used, is very singular in operation, like one asset, two assets handling at one time. Malleant is more of a bulk tool. You look at all the assets in a variation tree. You look at, let's say a gun has 100 assets, 10 layers or whatever, then you put distortion on all those assets and then bounce distortion individually on top. So is the bulk factor is one. There's the live rendering factor, that's the second one, which is you listen to it live and you play, you get what you hear. And then the third one was about dependency. If for instance you yourself didn't make the Reaper project that it's being used in Wise, you're dependent on someone else's Reaper project. If you're working with outsourcers, right, who's sending you assets, you don't have access to the Reaper projects unless you ask them, hey, can you send it over, we build it. Now in smaller, like in AAA teams, if they're doing all of the Reaper sessions themselves, they're doing people are like assigned that way, that you're doing whatever you make on Reaper, you're putting in. There's obviously more synergy there, but Malleant is more, I guess, open to being used in multiple scenarios because it's not dependent. It's not dependent on a session, not dependent on you having the data from before if you don't have it. So that's like the main three differences and like how it's different.
Yeah, man, that's pretty solid, I'd say. In your face, guys. Whoever asked this question.
I've said this. I've spilled this tea hundreds of times. So now I'm prepared. Yeah. But any other questions you have?
Not a question, but just going to carry on the same convo. Malleant also has a live render feature from Wise itself. So let's say if you have some effects already baked, like added onto your Wise objects, that you want, maybe you want to use that for RTPCs or anything that the game does in real time, and you want to keep those effects. What Malleant can also do is it will let you add the Wise bridge after those effects, and it can basically render out all the effects that is on the on the Wise object itself, and plus your VSTs in Malleant. So it can render all of that, bake it into the file. And I think that is also very powerful in case of Malleant.
Yeah. Like for instance, if you can see my screen, just like a sound object, it has you put an effect on it, let's say flanger or whatever. So you have right, and you can bypass it. Even this effect, you don't really have to do anything. You just 1 sec. Let me. Okay. So you could, in theory, send this, and then when you're exporting it, you just press live, so that it's basically gonna take the live signal that goes like sample, flanger, then Malleant, record it like a real-time session, and then bake it live. So it keeps the buffers, sends it, and then it does that for everyone that you've selected, respectfully. It's very tough to explain it, but yeah. That's also something that you can do. Along with Perforce, we added Perforce integration. So if you're adding exporting a bunch of files, they're automatically tagged with P4 add, P4 edit, to kind of to make sure that when you're exporting into Perforce, it's already flagged, so that your team members don't see it as uneditable files. That's in the list of things that Malleant does. That's one of them, or two of them.
Oh, we also have play modes for imported files.
Yes, we do. We do that. Kind of to simulate like voice playback. What if you're like importing a bunch of files, like I did before, right? Let's just import a ton. Right. Then you can just select like a singular folder, right click it, it opens this box. I don't know, you can't really see it in Discord.
We can.
Okay.
We can.
It just says random sequence all sync. So each folder you can assign like a random container, sequence container, blend container. So if you want to like, if you're getting files that you want to listen back the way that they're supposed to in Wise later on, you could kind of like set up your listening tree and then press global playback to do that. That's, yeah. Whew. Always, I always end up talking a lot, in these, so feel free to jump in at any point. Anything. Cool. So, what was I saying? Okay, this is my honest question to you guys. Okay, Sean and Vishwas and Fahim. This is our first time, launching something like this as a product. We're kind of like stumbling our way through a lot of these things. So now that we've kind of launched it, put ourselves out in the world, what do you think we should do next to like meet people, to kind of like show this to them? In your opinion, what's a good way to be approached? When one that you don't feel offended by. That's always a tightrope for us.
So you mean marketing and spam, and are you also a little bit nervous about spamming too aggressively?
Yeah, 100%. That's always a, I think it's also a cultural thing. In India, I'm happy to spam people here, call them up without like knowing them, and they don't feel bad. I think most of the times I've done this with Vishwas, so he's laughing.
But like things like that wouldn't pass in Japan, China, Korea. They're really like, man, don't.
Keep that shit away. Vishwas, what were you saying? What were you saying?
No, I mean, I think the game audio community overall is like just, very keen most of the times. And yeah, if you drop in like a not too long message on LinkedIn, maybe, it's something that's going to catch everyone's eye and they'll be like, oh, I'm kind of curious. And yeah, I mean, just that should probably work because, yeah, I don't see anyone not being excited about this because it's such a massive problem that you've solved with this software. And I'm pretty sure every sound designer, audio designer, tech audio person goes through this where there's so much admin even before you start a project. You have to, you need a break after your admin stuff. So like personally, when I do start a project, I need like a long break after I'm done like doing all of this. So yeah, I mean, yeah, I think the community is pretty great. Everyone's nice and helpful, and yeah, a short LinkedIn message would probably go a long way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What about you, Sean? What do you think?
How many of us? Well, I've got a few thoughts on it. But how many of us here found you on LinkedIn?
I think 80%, 90%.
All right. So maybe my experience might be too biased, and we might be talking in an intelligence bubble.
Mm-hmm.
But bulk of my connections from the last year have been from LinkedIn, and it's been such a nice platform and a professional platform. However, there are a lot of fake bot posting happening. So as a consumer of things, I also get frustrated if I see a cool company and they post just a nonsensical every 3-day random LinkedIn style corporate style posts that doesn't relate to us, because my assumption is we're all creative people. We don't necessarily want to wear the corporate suits and things. That's not us. So I think if you're catering for the specialists and specialists that don't have too much of a corporate influence and they're decision makers in any company, I think having a friendly, regular short post about your updates, I think that'll go a very, very long way.
Yeah, I think now that we've kind of developed it a bit, I mean, we've launched it. We've kind of made good on a lot of the promises that we set out to do. That allows us to, try to be more creative with our posting. Like, I've got a few ideas that I've been wanting to, kind of have people on. Like, I had this one idea where I want to have a monster vocalist, like people who do voiceover but like monster noises, do a lot of that stuff. They're doing a lot of work on the mic, but then there's also a lot of post processing. So I was thinking, you know what, let's try like maybe a video where we're doing monster processing but during game, so it's like very accurate to the game rendered sequencing of the animations and such and so forth. So just they would record their performance, put it raw as a trigger, and then kind of modulate it with the game. That would be kind of sick. I think some stuff like that I'm really excited to get into now that it's out. And before I ask you the name of your cat, Christopher has given this amazing response that I think Tane is gonna have some nightmares about. So Christopher is saying it would be great to have a command line integration API so that it could integrate with in-house tools and do things like automatic processing of files based on file names. So if we can have like just set up strings or set up conditions in command lines and just say like, hey, if this file is in this folder, do X to it, like apply this preset or whatever using the engine, using the exporter stuff, and export it out in such a way. I think it's definitely a cool thing, which is why we've developed, like, put out like a custom area in our licensing. Like, you'd see there's 4 licenses. It's education, standard, enterprise, and then custom. And custom is to deal with like some really interesting stuff. If people are wanting to integrate it in-house, then I want to go a step further than just giving them like a blank tool. I want to look at their in-house tools. I want to really think about how we can tear Malleant apart and put it together for them when it comes to custom workflows and integrate it, so that, because when we're looking at big studios, they have their own concerns, they have their own pipelines, and it's never a snug fit. So to make it a snug fit, it'd be kind of nice. I like those challenges for sure. So Christopher, if you got any ideas apart from like also the adding names to files or triggering presets or something for based on certain conditions, yeah, I think we'd be super down to do that. Now, Sean, what's the name of your cat and who is it? I'd love to meet them, her, she.
So this is Scratch. She likes to switch off the PC, so I'm keeping an eye on her. And Scratch is too small to be a mark.
Oh.
And that's her namesake. So, and then I've got 3 other ones that are lurking around.
Nice. My mom is super scared of cats and animals, like even if they're the cutest things. My mom is so scared that, like, yeah, we cannot keep anything at our place. Yeah. Vishwas, do you have any pets? No. He's thinking a while. Your mic is muted.
Oh, sorry, my bad.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, not. I really do want one, but because like, I stay by myself, not usually home. So yeah, it's just really hard for an animal to just be by themselves for the most part. And, yeah, I don't want to be that cruel.
Yeah, makes sense. Makes sense. Yeah. Fahim, I know you don't have any, but how are you? It's always nice to listen to Fahim's thought process, just because he doesn't know much about audio.
I do not. Trust me, I do not. I'm like, oh, cool audio. Well done.
Before that, Christopher is leaving. Thank you so much for coming, Chris. Again, super glad that you support us all the way through, and that you stayed for so long as well. Thanks again. Yeah. Anyways, we're coming to the close of the stream in like 15 minutes anyways, so it's nice because I have not slept in 2 days, so this is neither
A week
has
for me.
yeah a week for Tanay. Yesterday night we had like a major bug, and we were both like just like this in this exact spot. Tanay on his bed, me on my chair, and just like, okay, we have launch in 8 hours. What can we do? Where did it all go wrong?
Ooh.
Would you
Just
take
slap
the-
the early access tag and ship it.
We already did
Video
that with
games
beta.
101.
We already did that with the beta, so now
Yeah.
tough. Yeah. No. But yeah, Fahim, you were saying something. I cut you off. Sorry.
No, I was saying like I know sounds as much as you have told me. So yeah, you taught me all about sounds. That's all. I'll just say that.
I'm a good teacher. That's Sean. By the way, where are you based out of? Are you based in Europe, US?
No, I'm from South Africa,
Oh shit!
and yes,
Nice.
nice recovery. Yeah, I'm from South Africa, so it's freezing here at the moment, but blessings to see all of you.
Whereabouts in South Africa? I thought like you had a little Kiwi touch in your accent.
I feel sorry for the Kiwis. I'm from Johannesburg.
Nice.
Yeah, Joburg. So
Yeah.
not central.
Is it like really good, just like wildlife parks and like those, what do you call it? I
Wild
completely blanked
reserves.
out. Wild reserves, yeah. Yeah, just like really
yeah,
beautiful safaris, I've heard.
Yes, look, this is heaven, besides the capital side, but the weather is so nice here that if you're a person that struggles with sickness and health, at least you'll have the sunshine. You have easy access to beautiful natural environment. However, the infrastructure and then normal urban life it becomes tricky when you factor those things in. But the nature, it's an absolutely stunning place to live, and I believe it's the same in New Zealand and Australia. So
Wow.
that's what I
Yeah,
heard.
yeah, it's pretty nice.
Okay.
It's pretty nice in India as well.
My question with you, Vishwas, how many like
Yeah.
spiders did you encounter in Australia?
Oh man, I encountered one like 2 a.m. I just came back from like a voiceover session, and that was being conducted in the States, and yeah, I was all over the place. It was 2 a.m. Yeah, I guess 2 a.m., 3 a.m. Yeah, whatever. Came back, lied down, and there was like this big giant whitetail right in front of my house, like right in front of me on the wall. And at some point, I was like, yeah, that can't be that poisonous because I live fairly close to the city. And then I sent it to one of my Aussie mates, and I'm like, hey, dude, will it kill me if I let it be there? And he's like, yes, please take it out of the house. I'm like, okay, I can just kill it, right? And he was like, no, you can't do it because if it's pregnant and if you kill it, it's going to spill all its babies and you'll have to burn the house down, literally. So you have to trap it in a box slide like cardboard underneath
Yeah.
and then just throw it out of the house. And it was like this big.
Shit.
So it took me like 20 minutes to gather that courage and then just now. So yeah, I mean, it was quite the experience. And now, yeah, I'm not that scared of like insects in general after that experience. So yeah, I think it worked in my favor.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
arachnophobic, so I'm never coming to Australia.
Yeah, I hate spiders. I'm very scared of spiders. Spiders are the only insects I'm like. I feel like I don't want to see this.
I'm fine until they are this big. As soon as they get any bigger, I'm like, no,
So
no,
guys, Malleant spider skin is coming soon. Like I think
No, I'm not in the UI.
Ah,
the spider.
I see the
Stranger,
plugs. I
Stranger
see the
Things
plugs.
edition.
Yeah, there's a lot of cobwebs. We have this little broom thing that cleans up like all the wise bridges and whatnot. On top of this, we'll put some cobwebs. And yeah, instead of cards, you have to like go.
Why
Oh,
don't
yeah.
you make a Balatro edition?
Wow, it's already there.
This is the balance.
This is the Balatro edition.
Fair, fair, fair.
Yeah, for sure. But I don't think I said this before, but both I thank you both, Vishwas and Sean, for coming today and spending so much time on this stream. It was always my like thought process that like I wanted to do something to celebrate this day, because we've been working on this for like a year and a half or more. And initially what we thought was going to be 4 months. I kid you not. We both thought 4 months is more than what it would take to do all this. And we did this. By the 4th month, we didn't... It looked like shit. It was nowhere. It was like... so many roller coasters, so many ups and downs. And really wanted to do like an event to kind of like celebrate this whole thing. And at that point, I thought, you know what, it would be nice to kind of just talk to people, because I talk to the team every day. Talk to people, get their honest opinions, and find out what things we're doing right, maybe what things we're doing wrong, what we could improve on. But in general, it's just, I think at the end of the day, if Malleant can be a talking point amongst people and allow us to build like more of a community, and that's more around like tooling and being open with like things that could solve problems, I think that would be pretty neat. And I think you guys are supporting us a lot by being here and sharing your thoughts and opinions. And even the people in the chat who have come, seen this, spend their time. I did spam a couple of guys on LinkedIn, just like, hey, come please. But despite all of that, they did come. So it's very nice. It makes me feel very happy. And thank you both for like staying this long. And of course, Fahim,
Kudos to you guys. Like, I know this would have taken a lot of effort considering the WAPI structure and how it works, and then just working out that whole solution around it. I mean, yeah, super proud of this, man. Like, yeah, I'm just really excited for how this works out in the industry.
Thank you.
Honestly, so
Absolutely.
WAPI was the easier part of this.
Yes.
But hooking that up into the UI of Juice, that was a nightmare.
Yeah, it was like I tried creating one small game plugin in Juice, and I was like, okay, no.
No.
The only reason I know what Juice is because the module lead at my uni is like one of the Juice developers or something. I don't know.
Okay, nice.
Sean, you were saying something.
I was just in agreement that hopefully this industry this becomes a hot topic amongst specialists. I wanted also to say that a few libraries that I also follow, instrument libraries, they regularly spam on Discord and send emails also. But it's not a nuisance at all. If you are a fan of a product, I think you want to be spammed. So I think you're in very good territory in the hands of specialists like us, I guess, right? We're all specialists and we all have to work for bigger companies. And
Yeah.
so when we start influencing the buying power, that's a good sign. Spam away.
Sick. Yeah. We'll be traveling to the US, I think, this year for Game SoundCon, putting up a small booth there. That's gonna be fun. So yeah, really really hoping to tidy up some more before that. But yeah, it's it's given us the whole software has given us a lot of opportunity to meet new people and talk and have conversations I don't think we would have otherwise have if we would have just said, hey, do you want audio files or do you want assets or do you want like services? Like everyone does that, everyone like people do talk and people do fraternize on that, no doubt about that. But developing this product has been such a treat because it has allowed us to have talking points with people, have like share when people get that aha moment, when they look at the product. And I think that my favorite thing to hear is when people tell me that, okay, after the whole like long ass demo, they go, okay, you have thought about it. It's like, I think that really puts me at ease when they say, if it doesn't matter if they purchase it or not, but they say that, you thought about it like a sound designer. You thought about the small things that you wouldn't have if you were a programmer, for instance. And I think that's something that I really always like to hear from people I show. But yeah.
Can I suggest, like, I don't know, if you followed like Fmod's license structure, but it's like free for a certain threshold, like games making to a certain threshold. That, I guess, has helped Fmod sort of scale a bit more because a lot of indie studios started to use it, and then that created a base of audio specialists because people usually start from indie platforms and then they sort of go on to their AAA titles or like their freelancing businesses. And then you just have like a bigger workforce being trained in that software if it's accessible at the point where people are just starting out, So maybe like aggressively having indie studios, like giving indie studios access to this could be, useful, I guess, just a suggestion, throwing it out there.
Just as a game developer, like I'm just saying, like in my buddies and all like production teams I know, like they are slowly moving away from Fmod because they are realizing WS is just better.
That's like
That's objective.
yeah.
That's that's objective, but like I don't know, like like people say like most applicable. For most, it's fine. So like for us, for a VR game for like ours, like AWS was like a no-brainer.
Yeah, I think it's more about the application where it's being used, where it's more feasible, where things are like better.
Yeah, of course. I'm not gonna go to like a 2D platformer game and tell him to use like WS. No.
I mean, they could, but yeah.
Use cases.
But what you said, I think Vishwas makes sense. I think I'll think about this. How to aggressively like get more people involved. One of the things we thought about was schools, like universities, giving them licenses for free. Just because students have such a different viewpoint than professionals. They have they will use Malleant completely differently than what like a very thought out pipeline would be. So I'm glad that Malleant has that flexibility to be applicable to both ends of the spectrum. But I think aggressively we were thinking about doing universities like colleges and stuff where they have programs. But I try to do something about indie studios. Yeah, what we can do to kind of get the ball rolling
because the idea is to probably train as much workforce as possible, right? Like to get people access to this.
Yeah. It's to make it like a part of their workflow. Like they should know.
Right. So like, let's say if there's an audio designer or like an audio programmer who uses this an indie studio, and then later on they go to like a AAA house or they start their own business, and then they're like, oh no, I need this, and then they push for, they vouch for the software and they get that into their ecosystem. So
Yeah, exactly.
yeah, could be a good place.
Mm. Yeah, the main thing is like the workforce is pretty like not that like in India specifically. Like it's very small. It's very
The,
very small.
yeah, the game audio communities in India, yeah, unfortunately, it's very
Yeah,
small, but very united, I guess. But
yeah.
very small,
Small
yeah.
but many.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But I guess that's the case in most places. I don't know how big the game audio community in South Africa is. Maybe Sean knows better about this.
Yeah, South Africa, to my knowledge, is quite experienced and have very high functioning teams, but very few. And they're also very well established younger people, I guess, that I haven't been able to break into. I've had more luck, funny enough, outside my country. So with the one company I'm interning for at the moment, it's still, I think it might be majority with the companies that are now springing up on the continent, but I'm suspecting that a lot of them are going to be indies, and where you'd find yourself being an amateur audio professional like me that has to do multiple things. So if these companies that are springing up, if they get a lot of funding, then that's a different story. If there's some kind of arts council or international humanitarian group that does funding for arts, then in that case I'm suspecting that exposing yourself to independent game companies on the continent, that might be a healthy fit to squeeze yourself into a funding structure of some kind as a product. If I'm making any sense.
It does. I don't know how much art funds would be into that, but I personally think that the whole Expedition 33, for instance, right? Like, I think it has really opened the doors to like the $5 million, $10 million games market for investments and investors looking. That means, of course, that means a smaller budget for audio in a lot of these games, but that also means more games, hopefully. More projects, more varied projects, and I agree with you that more and more you'd have people that are wearing more hats, smaller team sizes, but more projects that you're just doing a lot more things in, rather than just being like the one guy to do rendering or the one guy to do down mixing, So,
So I can speak for myself. I think, hopefully the gigs that I'm getting by the end of this year or within the next 24 months or 12 months, if I get decent gigs, these products are tools that I have to acquire as a skill. If we look at the WISE and FMOD discussion, those are two products that inevitably us musicians have to learn. We no longer have a choice. So putting yourself into that framework of saying, okay, well, here's my product. I can squeeze myself in between FMOD and WISE, and then you've made yourself indispensable as a more commonly recurring tool that specialists will need going forward. So inevitably, I know that I'm going to have to get this at some point. The difficulty is just, are we running out of gigs or well-paying gigs enough to buy a product? So it's becoming that balance. I'm not sure if you guys outside my country are facing with that issues, but costs are rising and gigs are more, but it's at less incentives, less pay. I'm not sure if you're encountering that on your side.
yeah, I think we do, 100%. I think this has become the general trend. As I said, like if you have lesser, bigger ticket projects, then you have lesser money to experiment with, procure capital with, to do a lot of these things that big companies do. For instance, if you're gonna spend like $1 million recording car sounds, then you have to be Forza. Like you cannot put 1/10 of your budget into getting really high quality audio for which for whose returns you cannot at that scale you cannot justify. So that's always a capital decision, I know, and we do face the brunt of it, I think, when it comes to like audio work, gigs being not as much, being shorter term contracts, being more frequently like changing from project to project, projects getting sunsetted with lesser scrutiny, like with lesser scrutiny, just because the project size wasn't that big that it doesn't matter to the person funding them that they could be sunset. So I think there's we do deal with a lot of the brunt of these things, but optimistically speaking, if there's more projects around the 5 million, 10 million, $15 million mark, that means like a good piece of work for a smaller team, like maybe 4 or 5 people for audio, and if there's enough of those gigs kind of like coming through, if we see success from the industry standpoint, like okay, people are purchasing those kinds of games at maybe slightly lower price points, I think that's just another way of the industry to transform, like maybe from 20 people teams to 5 people, 6 people teams. That's at least that's my opinion. But yeah, cool. I don't know if I'll take any more of you guys' time, because it's been a long chat that I've enjoyed a lot. I do enjoy talking about Malleant a lot. I'm a bit of a narcissist when it comes to this, but no, as I said again, thank you so much to both of you for joining this. Nikhil, he's not here. He went away before. Thank him as well if he sees this later on. I have not skipped out on him. And thanks to everyone who has joined on the chat, who has seen the stream, been part of this journey. There's gonna be we're gonna push more, we're gonna spam more, but thanks for being thanks for everything. I really cannot overstate it. So yeah, cool. If you guys are happy with that, I will end the stream. You guys have nothing else to say?
That's all. Thank you so much. Bye bye, everybody.
Bye bye. Cheers to you guys.
Cheers.